Hi, welcome back to the Dunbar Dog Diaries. I'm Kelly Dunbar, and we're going to continue our work today with Knox. I'd like to formalize her positions, or really work on phasing out the food for her sit down and stand today, maybe a little hand touch, and maybe even introduce a more formal sit and side, heel position. So let's get to training. Okay, so for today's session, I'm going to work on some positions with Mars, or I think I am. We'll see how it goes. We have lured her into her sit down and stand, and I haven't actually done very much officially with her at my side. We played with that a little bit with following, I think. So I'm going to kind of try to get, I think, 5 positions out of her: sit down, stand from the front, also, or just anywhere really at my side. At an angle to me. And then I'm going to work more specifically on sitting at my front as if she were coming when called, and positioning as if she were in heel. So sit down, stand in general, and then front and heel, basically heel position, because both come and heel are actually positions to an animal, to a dog, more than they are actions. To us, they're actions. We think come means come across the room and end up here. Well, for a dog, when they're getting reinforced at the end, it pretty much is sit right in front of me as fast as you can. So there's that, and then heeling, sitting at your side, is a very different picture from where we would normally have them when we are rewarding them for sitting. So it's something different, and I want her to be heavily reinforced for just sitting calmly at my side, so that when I add motion, she actually already has a kind of a go-to spot that she enjoys. I'm going to warm her up. I haven't seen Knox in a few days. She's been with her foster. I've got a little food in my hand. That was just to lure her into position. I'm now going to take that food out of my hand, and I'm going to try to get her to do a sit down stand, and I'm going to reinforce each position with the reward from my other hand. In theory, she's already sitting. I'm going to take that. She's been very patient while I've been talking to you. And I'm going to say stand, put my hand forward, touch, and then reward. Good job so far. Down. From a stand. This is a little harder. I'm going to give her a second. Good. She kind of went into a sit first, but whatever. I'll take it for now. Stand again. Reward. Because I'm not luring, and because with food, and I haven't asked her to do any of this for a while, that's why I'm reinforcing every single one. It's also a warm-up exercise, just to, reinforce her heavily at the beginning. Free. I need to go get some more food. I'm not going to leave her in a down stay because we're not working on stay it right now, and I didn't want her just to pop up and break it on her own. Because remember, the release word is important too, and if you don't use your release word every time and the dog eventually gets up and walks away or breaks, to them that's just the end of the exercise. They're never going to have the consistency and understanding that you stay in a position until released, unless you always release them. So that went pretty well. I think now I can just have her leash on in case she goes nowhere, but I guess I could probably take it off for this exercise. She's been pretty good about staying in our staged area lately. I'm also just going to add a little hand touch at my side. You can see how that's slightly different than a stand. Oh, come here, you don't have to. Good. Touch. Just warm her up, reminding her that the hand target is indeed a thing. Now I'm going to do her sit down stand again, and I'm not going to reward every single one. I'm going to try to get 2 positions or 3 positions, so we can start fading the food rewards for everything, for every single request. So she's sitting. I'm not going to reward that other than say good girl, and then we're going to say down, going down. Just wait her out. Good girl. Stand. Yay. Up. Stand. Helped her out a little bit there. So I got, I would say 2.5, 3 positions for that, right? Because she sat and I just rewarded her with some praise, and then I had her do a down, even though it was kind of sloppy, and then a stand, and then I rewarded her. I'm going to reward her for the down right away this time, especially if she does it more quickly. Down. Nope. Good girl. Now, she didn't do it more quickly, but I feel like she was slightly confused, so I am going to reinforce her rather than tell her that, not reinforce her and tell her that that wasn't exactly what I wanted. Free. Notice again my sequence. I say the word, which you can see still really doesn't have any meaning to her. Then I use my hand signal, which is a more salient thing for a dog, the body language. And then if she does it, then she gets rewarded. So I'm going to get her up. Let's go. Sit. Good. Stand. Nope, stand. She still thinks sit is more what she should be doing, so I have to be fast on the rewarding and the reinforcing of the stand. Obviously, she's been reinforced a lot for sit, so I have to convince her that stand is just as important. So I'm also now doing a little bit of duration by feeding her frequently. It's kind of sloppy. This is not perfect. It's hard for me to focus on exact precision with her and talk to you at the same time, but I think you get the picture. Good. So I'm going to stop reinforcing the sit and start really reinforcing the stand. I'm going to do a couple in. Come on. We're traveling. Stand. Good. And then I'm going to quickly reinforce her again so she doesn't think she has to change positions or move. Good. Down. Nope. Down. Now this is no showdown, but she's doing it. Good girl. Free. Also, you reinforce. You reinforce at. You vary your reinforcement. Like you can be petting, you can be play, it can be food, it can be one morsel, it can be 3 morsels. You want to mix it up so that it's not just always predictable in the same old thing. When you reinforce with more than one piece, I would deliver one at a time. If you give her a handful, it still feels like one reward delivery, one reward, even though it's a little bit bigger. I think it seems more valuable if it's a long, protracted reward. If you have 10 pieces, don't give it in a handful. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Also, what you are kind of doing then is getting duration, fudging duration, but getting something there. Good girl. All right, we got a little bit of that. Now I'm going to go back to using my hand target, but I'm going to use it with a little bit of a lure. I'm switching hands so that my food lure hand is here because I want her on my left side right now. And I'm going to get her to come with me. I'm switching to food in the hand because I'm asking for more motion than just a hand touch now. I want her to stay with my hand. And she's trying to get to the front to me. This is very common. If you work a lot on frontal positioning, this is what she thinks is this is obviously the most reinforced position she's ever done. She keeps trying it. I want to get her to my side, so I'm going to reinforce her for passing me. See how hard it is for her to even go past me? She's like, I've never gotten reinforced for being over there, so it doesn't make sense. So right now, I'm just trying to get her to walk past me, and in that case, she turned around. I am feeding out of my lure hand here right now. I know I tell you not to do that for the basic positions. This is slightly different in that I don't have time to switch, and if I did, she's going to move positions. It's partially timing, partially this is something I'm going to fade really quickly, and that's why it's okay. Good, there we go. Good. I'd like to get the lure out of my hand very quickly. One more like that. Oh, you can see this just doesn't make sense to her. You wouldn't say she's being bad or disobedient or dominant or anything. She's just unclear. What the heck I'm asking is very different than what I normally ask, even though really all I still want, in our human brains, it's like, oh, I just want to sit. But that positioning is so different to her because they're looking at the full picture, right? So let's try that now. I'm going to take the food out of the hand. Oh, yes, it smells like cheese and all of that, but it's now just a hand target. They know the difference. If you put 2 hands out, one has cheese smell and one actually has cheese, they know which is which. Their noses are very precise, so I'm not fooling her, but it does help. It's a little bit of an aid. Ready? Let's try that again. If she goes past me, I'm going to mark yes and then really quickly try to feed her out of this other hand. Come here. Yes, not perfect, but you can see that this is a little harder for her. Come on, don't choke on your cheese. Flow, baby, flow, come on. And I'm not even gonna ask for her to sit there, I'm just rewarding her at my side. Can you see how much more difficult this is for her? And here we are, we asked them to sit in all sorts of positions, in all sorts of context, right away. Good girl, she tried there. She was angled differently, so I'll give it to her. Free. We asked them to sit across the room. We asked them to sit at the park. We asked them to sit all over in the real world after you're generally only working on this frontal position. And it's hard enough in a quiet room where she's used to training to get her to go from here to here, when she's trying with, really little distraction. So when you imagine if you were to skip this step and just take her out into the world and expect it, this is where people think their dog knows a position or a cue or a word or command, and they don't. They really don't, because they are such contextual learners. So this really illustrates a point That's important to keep dogs out of trouble and to keep trainers honest. All right, I'm going to try one last time, and then we're going to take a little training break, I think, and go to something else, or do part 2 of this. Ready? Come on. Can you do this? No. There's a way we can cheat this next time, and I'll show you in the next episode. Come on. There. Come here. Almost. See, she still actually, if I put the lure in my hand, I kind of get a better move, but she really still thinks she has to swing out there. I didn't give her anything for that. It was just kind of messing with it. Okay, free. Touch. Good. Do something I knew she can do to end it. And okay, that really was a great illustration of a common training hiccup, problem, misunderstanding on the human part, whatever you want to call it. So I'm kind of glad we went through that. We're going to take a break, give her a chance to get a drink and a little belly rub, and we'll come back and do part 2 of her position training. Thanks.
Thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to learn more, make sure you visit dunbaracademy.com and check out our selection of free dog training and behavior courses. If you'd rather watch some more videos here on YouTube, click right over here or here. And if you want to watch our new videos as we post them, click here to subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell.